I remember back then when days were dark. I had nowhere to go and I was in the park, going house to house and state to state. Living out of bags, there was so much hate inside my mind, didn't make no sense. Praying for a way to get a handle on this, couldn't understand my incarnation. Religion led me to devastation, so I studied metaphysics, ghetto education. I know soul journey is my destination. Letting you in, I have reservations. I have no time for whack conversations. Don't play no games, don't ask no names. When me do drop bombs, I hit the mark I aim. And right now I'm aiming straight for your pineal gland. Wake up, black people, and take a stand, or stay asleep while the Panthers scream. Either way it go, victory is at hand. I'm crushing egos like soda cans. I got youth influence like Merlin Mans. Or better yet, like I lit Muhammad. My voice so strong, my opposition is dormant. You feel me? That means that I'm never losing. My soul's on the rise, higher than JetBlue. And beyond the clouds to the stars in space. Deep in the triple black, creating the race of God assist. Just keep it modest, sis. Many people don't believe soul power exists, but I know I'm a 6. Flip me over, I'm 9. That's supreme mathematics for you simple minds. But you can't see no inner vision. You're stuck in the land of indecision. Stop believing what they say is true, and all the things that they say that you should not do. Get the knowledge yourself, be a part of the crew. The underground movement in the city near you. Stay true to the red, the black, and the green. Stay true to the revolution and battling. All gangsters unite, keep the family tight. You can still have a heart walking in the light. Certified, don't act surprised. I see you looking with your looking ass. This sharp combination will cut like glass. Kola Soljet and Nemesis. We leave bad feelings like Schindler's List. Going crazy on this track like I've always done. You thought you would take me out? Psh, you ain't the one. Full circle, around I came. I was 7 years old when I entered this game. They been distressing me, I remain the same. Like God Almighty, I got many names. Black Betty and Desiana. And if two means light is what I'm bringing to you. This was only my genesis, got books galore. The depths of my mystery, the ocean floor. If you're ready for Atlantis, then test your fate. But my equals are the only ones I came to debate. That's why most of the time I spend with self. Beats dummying down for someone else. Good educated by ghetto scholars that made it. Converse with me, the outcome will be leaving you jaded. Crushing all systems, exposing lies. Haters step aside, cause I'm on the rise. I'm bona fide, I'm dignified, I'm magnified, I'm justified, I'm fortified, done testified, been religified, still I'm sanctified, now spirified, I'm qualified, I'm satisfied, I'm electrified, been criticized and victimized, still I'm on the rise, still I'm on the rise.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, peace and blessings. Welcome
Yo,
to Cinematic Muse. Okay, we here with one
shout
who
out
has
to Ebony and
agreed
Crystal.
to come and balance the scales. Okay, to balance the scales of justice, to balance the scales of representation, and to bring a healing and it's subject to hip hop. We got hip hop spiritual redeemer here with us today. Okay, so normally we looking at movies and we going all over the place, but today we want to take it back to our spiritual core, our spiritual center, our spiritual foundation, and curate the journey that created the mastermind that has been blessing the world now for 4 decades. Okay, with her artistry, with her talents, with her gift, and with her healing capability. So it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some and to others. Hip hop's spiritual elevator, the High Priestess Sis'star Kola Soljet, aka the Conscious Outcast. Okay.
Thank you again.
Yes.
And once again, I want to say shout out to Crystal and to Ebony. That's my nieces. I give thanks. That was a space of sisterhood, and they really, really they went where
Mm,
I went. So it's good. Shout out to Marion too, because that's their mother. And we had a mighty journey together. One of the first sisterhoods I built, a cultic sisterhood, spiritual and cultural sisterhood. So shout out to Motu. Yeah, mothers of the
okay.
universe.
Shout out to the mothers of the universe and the universal mothers. Okay.
Yeah.
We honor them and celebrate them. So I'm excited to get on this two-part series with you here. For the next couple of Fridays, we'll be delving into the mind of the spiritualists. We know you from a lot of different spaces, but I wanted to curate the artistry because this is Cinematic Muse. So, music that shaped the minds, music that might have changed your life. So, let's get into your subject journey musical background. What is your earliest musical influences, and what was it about music that influenced you or pushed you to find a way to bring together the spiritual aspects that you grew up in with the music? How did you bring those worlds together? How did you find a way?
mm, my earliest influence, is my parents. So, the 80s, early 80s, probably in the womb. Gap Band, George Clinton, the greats, Jacksons, Michael Jackson, Prince, the same stuff that we all grew up to. Who else?
Mm,
All kind of stuff. Marvin Gaye. There's all the good ones, all the good stuff. But just listening to, I think it's my dad. Oh, jazz also. He has a real love for music. And my mom loved music too. She liked disco and stuff back then. She likes everything. She's have a more eclectic. My dad is, he liked what he liked, but jazz, and they would throw house parties a lot. And I really got into music. Like he would I don't know if it's just because we're both Mercury and that's the way we communicate, but we just had our own language, me and my dad, and we get into the sound and the frequency of the music, how that sound. Ray Parker Jr., I'm in love with the other woman. Yeah, you remember all of those ones back in the day, with just with some nice Stevie Wonder. I mean, big time. So yeah, I don't know. We just love music. I just think it's natural. My mother's side of the family, they're all musicians. For the most part, my mom isn't a musician, but she knows how to write and, come with little songs and stuff, rhymes and but they all play like instruments and stuff and just artists just on every level, athletes and artists. So that's kind of where I guess the beginnings come. My grandmother even, she sings and plays the piano and all that kind of stuff. So, it's innate, I think. Yeah, now how the spiritual part comes, I think because I write what I live and you know, my music has different reflections of that depending on where I was at that time. But I've always been spiritual, so I think that even, and I came up in conscious rap. Like when we were coming up in that age, that's when it was like we got to give it to rap too. Public, well, Public Enemy too, but Karis One, they did like the self destruction. There's all of this MC Light, just a lot of positive stuff that was out, and that's what influenced me. Karis One was a big influence on how I wrote. Honestly, Lauryn Hill and all of them came later, but I was really into MC Light. I was really into Karis One. Um, who else that? I mean, there was a lot of people that I love. Moni Love, Queen Latifah. So just it's a lot. Salt and Pepper. I even like JJ Fad from the little kind of conceptual group from Los Angeles. I was into it all. So Easy E, NWA, all of those were influences. Nas had a big influence on how I began to structure my music later, as far as like the street conscious aspect. Him and Lauryn Hill, I would say, definitely when rap started changing and stuff like that. So Ciroc the MC, shout out to Ciroc. When I started back rapping, she kind of gave me the motivation that conscious rap could be done, and it could be done in a way that's, not just old school sounding and stuff, but you could really push it forward. And I, say Narubi Say Lie as well. Shout out to Narubi Say Lie, God Hop, period. Yeah. So
Okay, okay. You got a diversified palette when it comes to music. You
mhm.
talked about your familiar influences and this ancestral connection with music. So, how did you begin to find your own authentic voice to say, okay, this is the stories I want to tell, this is the messages I want to put out, in the midst of all of this diverse connection, familiar ancestrally and just, influences, period. How did you find your voice?
Really, honestly, I keep on hearing Karis One. It's Love's Gonna Get You, and
Mm.
Love's Gonna Get You, and it was the LL Cool J, I Need Love. It was just like the storytelling aspect. I would sometimes change like the words, like the tempo of a song would be in my head, and I'd be putting my own feeling in it. That's how it started. But I actually began songwriting. First, I was just singing stuff. As soon as I could write and read, that's when it began for me, and it was church music. My first song was a church song when we lived in East Oakland, and I was about maybe 6. So, and I was like, Mom, I was all excited about it. Went to church and I got inspired by a song I heard in there. And we went to like a sanctified church. So yeah, I guess that's what it was. And so I'm all inspired and I come home and I had a good sense of humor. And I used to actually laugh a lot in church with people wearing and their hats and just all kind of funny things I would see. And in my mind, I'm already writing songs. So it was just natural for me. I just go home and write some stuff, whether I'm singing it or rapping it. So The Wiz. One of my first little songs was Nipsey Hussle, the little Slide Some Oil Into Me. I have my own little version of that. And I was probably about 6 or 7. I don't know. I think my sense of humor and my ability to be creative, they would buy us Yamaha keyboards and Casios and stuff and just playing with the sounds. I think that's where it come from. And then our other friends, you got friends you bounce off of. So we try to make songs together and make up groups and imitating, Karen White and stuff that's on the radio and Janet. And I just think it's from that, just seeing celebrities and wanting to imitate it. My sister used to come home with this little whack line she would say, and I'm like, I can do that. She used to be like, my name is Lori. My average is A. I rock on a mic each and every day. And I'm like, man, that ain't nothing. I could do that. So at first I was all impressed, but I'm like, that ain't nothing. Like, girl, you ain't got nothing. Yeah, but just that. My cousins, they rapped. I thought it was just fascinating. Yeah, I don't know.
So when did it go from an interest to something that you wanted to pursue? Something that you wanted to pursue like hard body? Like when did it go from an interest to an obsession?
I mean, it's been an obsession, but this is the dilemma that we have growing up in the South and stuff. You have the obsession, but you don't have no way to get to it. It's just like, you want to do it, but there's no internet. You know, you just going to like house studios making music and hoping like when I go to California, maybe somebody will like this. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that it's like you want to do stuff, but sometimes it's the environment that you're in and like maybe what's going on in your family life or just life in general that you can't do it. But I just never stopped writing. So I don't know if I can say hard body, just whenever I get an opportunity. I got my pad, I got my beats, whatever. But it was just more, I would say like in 2012, I came back to take it seriously, but it's been a long journey. It's been a few times that I took it seriously. And I was told, like, when I was 23, we had Cameo was spinning one of the song that I played for you, um, the one that I was singing on for the guy. But it was a lot of jealousy, like in relationships, and people like don't really want you to do it. They, and not wanting me to like go to LA and really make it happen. So it was really, really hard. It was very, very hard. Like I just don't think it was. I think timing is everything. So I don't, but when I started like really performing and stuff like that, it was in like 2010. And in 2012, I just started reinventing myself. And that's when it would just go from there, as far as I didn't know, again, don't know how to get there. I just doing stuff locally. It's just not really understanding, like nobody's telling you like the steps. They nobody wants to see you. So they'll just be like, oh, I don't know, or this is what I did, or Google it, so you just like, okay, it's a lot, people playing with your time, you in there making music and they holding it. They got other agendas, it's very hard for me. It was so once the internet opened up, I think that opened up more opportunities and possibilities for people. So for me, it was like 2012. Yeah. I dropped I dropped a little EP in 2012 that's on the rise, the song we just heard. And it had like, some other songs in there too.
So on the rise, since we started with that, what are some of the background stories behind, on the rise? What was on the rise? Was it a mantra? Was it just an album title? What's the significance about it? And you know,
Um,
looking back on it now for you from then to now, what were some of the things along the way?
it was just putting the frequency out there that I'm on the rise because I was speaking to you about all of the obstacles that was stopping me. So once you get to a certain place in yourself, it's like, I can't be stopped. I can't be held down. I'm still on the rise. Like, no matter what, I went from like this space of running away or being homeless or just having people just giving me all of this, people that's supposed to love you, really understanding life and where it's at. And I'm just determined to make it regardless. And that's what On the Rise is about, period. It's about my spirit. It's about, my spirituality and just being allowed to express it, what I've been through spiritually. Because I said on one part I said I was what was it, Christianized or something. I said I don't remember. Still, I'm sanctified. That's an old song, but yeah. I don't know what I said. Religified is what I said, but still I'm sanctified. Meaning, even without religion, I'm still me. I'm still a sacred specimen that's a vessel to bring this creative force through. So all of that other stuff is just parts of me, you know. So from beginning to end, from the alpha and omega, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people want to know what I'm saying on the hook. They be like, what are you saying? I'm saying from beginning to end, so jetting up, so jetting up. And that's just me elevating from beginning to end, the beginning of my journey to the end of my journey. And it just goes in a full circle because it just always beginning to end. We always come back to a beginning point, you know, and full circle. Yeah. So that's what On the Rise is about.
So now looking back at it, going through its Jupiter return on the rise, like what are some of the lessons you could take away from that experience as you approach a new cycle of something you previously recorded? And what did it feel like, then when you were done? Like this is something that you labored on. You went through all of the trials and tribulations associated with it, and everything else. What did it feel like to have it actually done, and then how was it received going?
Getting it done was fun because I remember the reaction in the studio, and it was like some like like some people that's a little older than us. Like back then, they was probably the age we are now, and I just remember the reaction, and because it was different. Like just the just it had like a house tribal feel to it, so it was just different. And I just remember I knew this is the deal because I had met Ciroc right after that, right? Like I went to we went to the Return of the Gods and stuff like that. But I was like, still, I really don't, I feel a little sensitive to talk about what really was going on at that time because that's all it was really a lot. So I'm gonna just say this. I was overcoming a lot of things. So I was just in there, but that was the first rap that I wrote in many years like it to go and record. I've been recording in the studio since I was my first song I made, I was uh 10 and it's called Why Can't They Understand. I wrote it, that was a whole vibe. But I just know what I've been through and I don't like I said, I'm not really trying to be that vulnerable on this particular situation, but it's a lot. Just know that, they want to understand it. Listen to the words. Listen to what I'm saying. The level of vulnerability that was in the song. I've been criticized, victimized, just all the things that I was going through at that time as a child, just all my trials. And so to complete it, I really felt like I was on the rise. That's when I started doing shows. That's when a lot of things started, people started, I started connecting with different collectives, different groups, different age groups, different. Um, Another thing that was hard was finding beats. I could never, because of the level of talent I had, at that time, I never could find people to match what was in my head. It's like they couldn't make a beat for me. So I had to make music. So I think in that I was very creative because I had to use whatever beats that these people had and try to make something of it rather than me like having my vision. I still haven't had that yet. I'm still, Trap Magick was cool, but I still haven't had that. Just that complete my best hasn't been produced yet. I'm still in a space of, trying to get to that level of vulnerability and just finding that right, that family. Shout out to Foster because he's the closest that, and we did some good work, but it was rushed. So, I'm definitely still open to working with him because he's extremely talented. And like I said, he came with some really dope stuff. So, shout out to Diesel. I want to work with him as well. I still have beats I need to write to. So, but it just that's what it was. I mean, how did I feel? I felt like I was on my journey. Like, yeah, it gets kind of crazy because then it gets spiritual. Because like I said, you can't do anything unless you're permitted to do it really. I mean, there's certain things that you may want to do, but if it's not time for you to do it or if it's not for you to do, it won't happen. And I put a lot of efforts through, and it seemed like it was almost like witchcraft or some shit. Like I could never get to what I need to get to. Like people will, it felt like that. Like it was a collective effort to, keep me at a certain, level. And like my cousin used to say, like, he was like a little older than me, and he's a very good MC as well and stuff. Like he's great. But he would always say stuff like, "Oh, you gotta wait till I blow because you're gonna be my artist." So that's not helping me, like he's not allowing me to, you know, um, all of that. So it was a lot. I don't even yeah, next song.
So on the rise, and you were on the rise, and you were out
That was all
there
right.
doing shows. What did it feel like now to take it from a concept in your head, actually doing it? Now you're performing. For you, what is it like for you in that space of performing something? You see what I'm saying? That
Mhm.
you
Very
created
natural.
like that.
Yeah, very natural. I love it. I may be like a little nervous starting, but I'm very, very comfortable rapping. I've been rapping since I was 7. So and I was one of them playground rappers, and I, you know, always had to perform for people. So I feel very comfortable rapping. Just yeah. I did, I won a contest in 2019. Who's the hottest competition in the Bay Area? And we were supposed to do the finals, but I won the first, you know, um, half of that. And that was a really, really good feeling because I was actually just making, I was 39, and I was like, whoa, and I was competing with people from 19 to 50. So that was to have young people still, like, yeah, that's
Mhm.
a good feeling because like I said, maybe it just wasn't my time, maybe, what I do is something different that wasn't for that time. I don't know. I'm still developing. So
So Trap Magic,
yeah.
this Trap Magic saga that I want to do in two parts. So let's look at the making of Trap Magic,
Hmm.
the making, the backstory, the journey. You know, what was it about the name Trap Magic? You know, anything that you would like to share in regards to, what it took to make Trap Magic.
Well, that let me tell y'all something. It's lightning out here. That's why my head went to the side. I'm like, I got the windows open, but we got storm watches going on out here in Texas. But you hear it?
We making
But
Trap Magic right now.
that's
You
the
like
Trap
you talking about
Magic. Yeah.
you gonna call Trap Magic to the trap? Okay, let's go. Yes.
Okay, so clearly, Trap Magic was literally born in a trap. I don't really want to go into too much of that, but I'm gonna just say this. Uh, the trap is a lot of things. It's what it's what it's designed to be. Like meaning that it's something the Dungeon family came with. So it's a place where you cook up. But it's also everything that imprisons us on this planet, from the hoods we live in to certain systematic things we have to deal with, to our own physical body, um, to the barrel that possess the crabs, earth. You feel me? It's all a form of traps, and there's a lot of snares within the traps and things that keep us from getting to where we need to get to, and there's a lot of illusions. So I'm basically saying that do what you got to do, but do it mindfully. You know, um, put God in it. If you gotta do a little hustle, sell a little weed here and there, whatever. I shouldn't be saying no shit like that, but work for the cannabis, whatever you had to do, on that note, do what you gotta do, but make it count. I don't support like no crack and all of that, but I'm speaking to like whatever your vibe is, as far as if it's something that make people feel good and it's honest, well, honest to a degree. I don't know. It's just balancing out the negative shit you got to do, even if it is crack. Whatever people are doing, you can't stop people from what they do to survive. All you could do is advise them. You can't. So whatever it is, I was basically saying there's another way to balance the energy out by adding a spiritual component to it. You know, the same way they do in Haiti, the same way the Latinas understand, the same way a lot of our people in Louisiana understand, in New York, some of the ones that practice there. It just basically just adding that element of balance and then find that exit way. Um, protecting yourself, not just hustling, but safety. How do you survive in the trap? How do you protect your children? Do you just go out and match the violence, or can we set a tone and the energy where we're not even dealing with that? You know, um, the mind is a trap. So how do you come from out of the mind space? Is by elevating yourself, by getting the knowledge and the wisdom and the spiritual application that you need to see changes happen. We are in control of our community. So what can we do to bring that God frequency here in the hood, everywhere, not just in one concentrated place, or, you know, let it be a pop lock from the West Coast to the East Coast to the Africa to Jamaica. You know, it's a whole thing. And anybody else that touch it in between. You feel me? Like even if it's other cultures, if they touch it, they touch it. Hip hop is it touch everybody. It's
Right.
bigger than religion. It's bigger than my nizza, like Erica say. It's bigger than the government. Hip hop can save. Hip hop save lives. You
Yes.
know, when done right, it can be destructive as well. It's a tool.
Mhm.
And I loved it. When you ask me what got me to want to rap, I mean, who didn't? Even those that couldn't rap. When the
Mhm.
80s came, I mean, I wish I was a teenager. Who didn't want to be a teenager in the 80s? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That whole movement, I was here for it. And you just get chills all over. It's a movement. It's a move. It's a spiritual force working. Everybody, we watching people pop lock. We watching them come with bars. We watching
Mhm.
people do graffiti, beautiful art, and we catching chills watching it. People making circles. We still got white people looking. We got Asians and
Right.
every race of people taking pictures and just trying to understand that subway stations is touching
Right.
everybody from East Coast to the West Coast to the dirt. So it's a move. I mean, I'm a part of that. I'm a child of that, and I just so happen to have talent to be able. Meaning, I can hold my own in that space. I can't do graffiti, but I can enjoy it and admire it. The clothes, also the fashion, all of that is a part.
Right.
The entrepreneurialism. So just understanding that high infinite powers were healing our people. It's unfortunate that there was a lot of corruption and people that used the vulnerabilities and the great thing of the people to put other things in it that shouldn't have been there, where children were harmed and different. I'm gonna just leave it just like that. I mean, it's a lot
Right.
of illusions even in that whole, but
Right.
it did influence us in a way that made us feel good about ourselves. Kind of like when Pac say, I remember Marvin Gaye used to sing to me. He had me thinking that black was the thing to be. That's what hip hop
Mhm.
did for us also. Everybody wanted to be it, do it, live it, eat it, consume it, wear it. So that's where it come from.
Now, was there a difference in the process of making, well, process in between On the Rise and Trap Magic as far as,
Definitely,
okay.
definitely, definitely, definitely. It was just bad. All I can say is my lifestyle just overrode my ability to create what I wanted. Trap and On the Rise was a compilation of songs that took me that I pulled from years of work.
Mhm.
So it's like finally getting that out, right?
Mhm.
And then I made like two new songs to add to it. That was Infuse It and Elevate. Okay, so then um I kept writing though, and more different stuff was coming up. And I decided like I started writing, working on that one album in 2016. Really, literally, I wrote that's why I wrote Ride. But it was still life was still life, and I just don't know how to explain that. I never had an opportunity to just um, it just didn't happen, kind of like Nas and AZ, it just, the best rapper that
Mhm.
never was, it's just one of
Right.
those things, I don't know. I The process with Trap Magic, it was still obstacles. When I finally got all excited, I'm getting the beats I want, got a nice studio lined up, and then here come the pandemic. Everything shut
Mhm.
down. The studios are
Mhm.
closed. Nobody can travel. So I'm like, damn, once again. And my producer lived in Texas. I was trying to record in Oakland or in
Mhm.
Fairfield so that I can we were gonna just move like that through the computer and I would have got with him later, but it didn't work like that. So finally I just forced it. When things started clearing up a little bit, I just
Mhm.
said, you know what, I'm gonna go to Texas. And I went to Texas because he was like, we were good. And he has a studio in his home. So the reason why my album wasn't as cohesive as I wanted it to be is because we literally made that album in 2 weekend sessions. I went there two
Mhm.
days in a row. I worked 8 hours on each time I went, maybe longer on those last nights. But we literally got the album done in 4 days. I had already been writing because I was ready to go. So some of the
Mhm.
songs were already written. That made the process easier. When I get there, we just knocking them down. But then it was certain ones that wasn't complete. We still had to do stuff with and stuff. So it was something. I was getting tired. It was like on on lyrical loquations. I was supposed to say thrice, and I said twice, but I was getting so tired. Fossil was like, come on, Cola, come on, Cola. And I'm like falling asleep. And I'm like, man, just forget it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah, you can. Cause it was like, we just had a little bit left, but it was just like, I was getting delirious because we were just up like 13, 14, just hours trying to get things to go and sound right. And it was things that could have still been mixed better and stuff, but we did what we could with what we had. That's part of the trap though, Trap Magick. We was in the trap. We was in the pandemic, so it goes. Yeah, it is what it is. It was, everybody not able. So people that live in places like Los Angeles and New York and shit, they need to give thanks that they had exposure to things that other people didn't. And some of them used it for the good and some of them didn't take advantage of it at all. And then on top of that, we had the dilemma of New Yorkers. That's why my bars had to be right, because they wasn't hearing shit if it wasn't tight and if it wasn't from the East. So you had to be really, really, it was like, that was the standard. It wasn't no beneath standard for me. I just started getting lax on lyrics because I realized that everything ain't got to be super duper lyrical. You know what I'm saying? So I rap how I feel before you're like overthinking it, and you want everything to just. And I have those moments as well. I'm still planning on doing a hip hop album that's just more about the beats and bars. I kind of think that Trap Magick was a little conceptual. I don't want to just leave the people without anything, and I'm being mindful. I don't know how long we got, but Trap Magick was born in the hood, and I had a dream. I had a friend, I would go there and I would get my smoke and stuff from this trap spot sometime. And I knew I shouldn't have been there because I'm sitting here with all of this other power, like I'm the general manager at Jamba Juice, right? I have my own shop, Oshun's Closet. And I'm working as a priestess at Mystic Dream and a priestess at Oshun's Closet, right? But I still smoke. So I was would go every now and then, not all the time, just every now and then, when I would go by there and just holler at the hood. You feel me? So on this, so I stayed away after that because something happened that day. Somebody got in a fight or something like that. And I said, I really don't need to be out here. I said, because I'm too old to be out here and just got too much going on for myself. And even though I'm just passing through, anything can happen and I have all of this to lose. We were in Cali, so I have all of this to lose. And so, and I'm older than the people I was around. That's just my folks, though, just people that I know, and I'm just, they were grown, obviously, but it just still, I'm just in a different space. But I was just coming back from Texas. I was visiting my friends, just people I knew. I trying to be uppity and all of that stuff, right? Just being me. But I stayed away for a while and just focused on my occultic stuff and just I was getting ready to write a book. The book was gonna be called Trap Magick. But this is before the book was born though, because I was already working on an outline before I got to all of this other stuff. So I had a dream that I was in that same trap spot. Oh, this is the part I forgot to mention about the trap spot. The mother in there was this Filipino woman, and she was a heavy Catholic voodoo. She had an altar set up in the damn spot. She had an altar in the trap spot. Okay. So I had a dream that all of these people are moving and grooving and hustling around me. This was months later because I was just doing my occultic work, right? And I seen I was in the house praying and I'm trying to understand all of these hustlers and stuff around me and the old lady and all of this, and I'm in the house praying, So that's what it was though. So I ran into the people like months later, and I'm telling them like, oh man, I had this dream, and all of the stuff we didn't experience, and because I was still spiritual. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. I'm not ready to reveal that on this video. I was dealing with a person that was a Christian that was hustling on the side. I mean, a Christian minister. Come on now. I'm not ready to get into all of that. That's legal implications on there. There's still people out there doing stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna go that deep with it. I mean, you just got to use your mind with it. It's Trap Magick. I mean, it's what it is. But that's why that's more of the dark side. Soljet healing that's what I do. That's my healing journey. Trap Magick is something totally different. You know what I mean? So all of it is healing though. That's my duality. you know. So basically, I was telling him about it, and it was inspiring this book because I had, you know, the book is real deep, you know, so I ain't even gonna go into that. The book ended up being a audio book because it became an album. Okay, so I was telling him about it, and he started laughing. He said, "Oh, what you gonna do? You gonna have all of the trap gods set up praying for us?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I will." So we, you know, so we're just going back and forth with little crazy stuff he's saying too. Like we're all just talking, and I'm like, "Yeah, that works." So he said, "I want to tell you something." He said, "By the way," he said, "the trap spot burned down." I said, "It did?" He said, "Yeah." He says, "Funny you had that dream." He said, "The only thing that was standing was the Bible and the altar. Everything else in the house burned down." The house burned to the ground. Only thing was standing on the land was the altar and the Bible. So I thought that was pretty, yeah. But that's the story behind it. I gave you what I could. I feel awkward even talking about it, but you know, it is what it is, you know. So
Okay.
hear it in the music. It's in
Right.
there.
So can we play Elevate and then we could just save the album for part 2?
Elevate?
Yeah.
Sure. Elevate. Oh yeah. You can play Elevate. Okay. I was thinking of
Deuce Trey on the beat.
To tell me what you see when you looking at me. Me beautiful, metaphysical, light shining from me. I eat, sleep, and breathe what you can't receive. Your pineal too clogged up from watching TV. I be using my inner vision while the hood stuck on television. Eating, drinking that bullshit. Get free, don't need permission. Let's take an intermission so you can find your inner mission. Third eye, activated, elevation and intuition. Tired of doing that same old shit. Every day been getting lit. Smoked out, bummed out. It's about time I made a switch. The matrix I infiltrated, but I still keep watch on the snitch. Can't tell if he black or white. Don't know if they straight or bitch. That silly shit the world be with. They don't really want to see us grow. Still religious, don't know. Half perm, mind slow. Black folks still no grows. Dead Negroes on the block though. Slanging dope to them po folks. Trapped in the trap but ready to go. Go, 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 go. Stuck in the ghetto flow, toot and blow. Trying to function, trying to cope. Everybody in the world losing hope. Hanging on a rope by a mountain slope. You still can't cope with the open stroke. Nope, 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 nope. You're looking at life through a telescope. Elevate your mind, maybe you'll feel better. But the world can't seem to get that shit together. Elevate your mind, maybe you'll feel better. But the world can't seem to get that shit together. Y'all hear me though, 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 y'all hear me though. I gotta get a grip because my mind's about to slip. So many of my adversaries wanna see me buried, then they wonder why I trip. I'm just so tired of usury, feel like everybody's using me. Then when I said it off, they wanna act all soft, now they all accusing me. It makes my fingers start to itch, it makes me act like a bitch. But I'ma laugh, cause if I blast, you'll die singing high pitch. These evil thoughts are in my mind, so the light I gotta find. Cause if I tan your behind my crime, cause I'll be doing time. In me does darkness reside, will I ever break Satan's tie? Cause it's been a bumpy ride, and I know my heart ain't never lied. But these lonely eyes of pride, from all this pain I feel inside. So I'ma bust a rhyme like bust a rhyme. And when it's all over, play me on rewind. Is it with me that you really wanna bring this heat? Is it me that you see that you wanna defeat? Free your mind, bob your head while you banging this beat. Feel me flow, here I go while you're gritting your teeth. Is it with me that you really wanna bring this heat? Is it me that you see that you wanna defeat? Free your mind, bob your head while you're banging this beat. Feel me flow, here I go while you're gritting your teeth. Elevate your mind, maybe you'll feel better. But the world can't seem to get that shit together. Elevate your mind, maybe you'll feel better. But the world can't seem to get that shit together. Y'all hear me though, 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 y'all hear me though. The world keeps on spinning, it don't stop for you to figure out. Gotta think fast, gotta be smart. Hood life ain't what it's all about. We got wars, better recognize this shit reach to the stars. What y'all know about Saturn? What you know about Mars? What you know about Satan? Believe me, he real sneaky in your ear when you sleepy, telling you to act creepy. Freaky trickology is what he left in your mind. So elevate it, recreate it before we run out of time. Time to elevate your mind. Elevate your mind, elevate your mind. It's time. It's about that time to elevate your mind. Elevate your mind, elevate your mind. It's about your mind, elevate your mind. It's about that time to elevate your mind. Elevate your mind, hood, elevate your mind. It's about that time we elevate your mind. Elevate your mind, maybe you'll feel better, but the world can't sing to get that shit together. Elevate your mind, maybe you'll feel better, but the world can't sing to get that shit together. Y'all hear me though? 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 Elevate your mind, maybe you'll feel better, but the world can't sing to get that shit together. Elevate your mind, maybe you'll feel better, but the world can't sing to get that shit together. Y'all hear me though? 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 Y'all hear me though?
Oh my God, I hate that video. let me explain. That just reiterates the anger. That's the older, piece or whatever. I like the song. It was a fun thing, but if you notice that I was on purposely sabotage even in the video. All of the spots you couldn't see my face, everything was dark, everything was black. The dude was a pervert. He kept zooming in on me and the girl's butt. So the guy that was really in charge was mad because he got his assistant to do it, this doggone Scorpio. So he was Scorpio and he just doing the most. But I enjoyed the journey, but yeah, that was just a lot. It was just it's just taking watching it all. It's like bringing a lot of memories back. I just was laughing at some of the things, but that's where we were at that time. So it is what it is, you know. Never had support. It was always like some craziness, but shout out to Reese, so because he was the one that was like, I'm gonna do it for you, and we tried to just do like some stuff to just get stuff out there, but it was very amateur. I never could find the right people to write nothing. So that was like, a start of putting the energy out there to, just put something out there, just a visual, So it was cool, long time ago. Gave me almost had trauma just now watching that.
Well, I don't want you to have no trauma.
I was almost like, oh my God, who is that girl?
I love the song. I love the elements that are there. They're elements of nature. There's you and the young man. You see what I'm saying? Like we need to heal our inner child. There's a space. You a high priestess. You see what I'm saying? Like there's so many other elements that are there. It's there. It's a space where there's an ode to revolution. There's an ode to hip hop. There's an ode to sisterhood. There's so many other things like literally a reprogramming of the mind. You in the bookstore with, niggas to gods, book 2. You see what I'm saying? Like, so
Right.
there's so many elements that are there that are showcased. So sometimes people think they see you, but they don't see you. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, like all of these things that, the untrained eye might be looking at something, but the spiritual eye gets a chance to see a fullness. You see what I'm saying? So the young boy b-boy, and that was like, I had my hand over my heart. You understand what I'm saying? And he's there and he's presenting in different lights and different colors. He's got blue hair, he's got red hair. Like there's so many elements to
That's supposed to be Bloods and Crips, the red and the blue. We elevating that too. We come from
right.
from Cali, so that's kind of like
So
a
that's
ode to that.
beautiful.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful thing to see. Okay, things don't have to stay in the state that they are. You can elevate them. We
absolutely.
can elevate anything. So that mentality, we're breaking out of the trap. We're breaking out of the prison. We're breaking out of
Absolutely.
the low vibrational spaces where we're holding, and it's growth through exposure. So he saw that, he was able to participate in that. You know, they say we don't get along. Like there was so many things that you broke. There were locks that spaces that you elevated through just the visual. Despite the other intentions of the guy. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
The
just the
song was
quality of it.
beautiful.
It's the quality of it. The brother that actually did the production, he really wanted, he at the time, he was like, I really think we should just redo the video and make another official video because I think that song deserves that. And I do too. That's how we felt at the time. But it's such an older song now. I don't even know if it's worth doing that, you know. But I do have another one with different visuals too. I just kind of have the video, and I have another one with other visuals. So but it is what it is. I'm just looking at the journey, you know. I was a little chubby. I was going through all my I just remember where I was as a person. Everything that I was just explaining to you and stuff, that was in that space when you was talking about, you know, on the rise and just
Mhm.
all that stuff. On the rise wasn't even nowhere near the days of Elevate, yet it ended up on the same album,
Mhm.
you know. So and I refused to put Ride on it because it was so different. It was like
Mhm.
it didn't even go, you know, like it was just my whole style had changed. So Elevate is the last of me rapping in a certain way.
Mhm.
It kind of marks the ending of, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely, you know, let me tell you what it marks the ending to. It wasn't necessarily rapping a certain way, but I said some things that would probably now get me canceled.
Mhm.
So it let you know the space we were in before even this new movement came through. When I say can't tell if they black or white, don't know if they
Mhm.
straight bitch, that silly shit the world be with. So this is when they was pushing all of these different agendas in our faces.
Right.
The black and white, Rachel Dolezal, it was all kind of stuff. Blacks acting
Right.
white, whites acting black. Everything
Right.
was just out of the order that I'd known it to be. So I'm just kind of, it comes off as, it could become off as critical, but at the same time, it's like you're looking at the world from what you knew to like,
Right.
what the hell is this?
Seeing the
You
change.
know?
Right.
And so then it'd have to go to something different because I had to be careful on Ride. Because I said some shit on Ride too. I say from Bruce to Kate, my 38 mutilate. You know, so
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I'm not a killer, but I will pop cake. Full penetration when my rounds rotate from Bruce to Kate, my 38 mutilate, you know. So I had to be careful because we lived in the times before then where we could really just say what we wanted to in
Right.
our songs. But it got to
Right.
a place in a space where you know, and I was able to get it off. And I actually got it off in Oakland. And it went, you know, at Beat
Mhm.
Boutique. They loved it. But, you know, yeah, it was just it was a different time. People were starting to accept it. Like the conscious community even was changing its trajectory of what they accept and what they look like, and they became unicorns and all kind of shit.
Right.
So with
Right.
that being said, it was confusing from somebody from our generation.
Right.
You know, they were just out there with it. So I was just kind of like, damn, you know, that's where that's coming from. But
Well, I think this was perfect. I thank you for your time. I thank you, for curating this experience and giving us, the loving care and the elevation. You see what I'm saying? I think
yeah,
you're remarkable and multi-talented. So, any
well,
final thoughts you want to share before we wrap up this episode of Sin and Muse Part One?
um, stay tuned for more. The journey is epic. The elements of don't judge a book by the is more to come. I'm a very, very multi-layered being. You know, you can never really, you know, it's you don't judge the book by the cover. It's more than meets the eye with me. You just never know. So yeah, I'm a little eccentric, but I love it. You know, don't you knowledge?
I do. It's
Absolutely,
amazing.
my homie.
All right. We out, y'all.
We
See
out.
y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them that in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? No more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get
And
back
that
to the
motive
gritty
is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.